The Hall of the Bright Carvings. Gormenghast, that is, the main massing of the original stone, taken by itself would have displayed a certain ponderous architectural quality, were it possible to have ignored the circumfusion of those mean dwellings that swarmed like an epidemic around its outer walls. They sprawled over the sloping earth, each one halfway over its neighbour until, held back by the castle ramparts, the innermost of these hovels laid hold on the great walls, clamping themselves thereto like limpets to a rock. These dwellings, by ancient law, were granted this chill intimacy with the stronghold that loomed above them. Over their irregular roofs would fall throughout the seasons the shadows of time-eaten buttresses, of broken and lofty turrets, and, most enormous of all, the shadow of the Tower of Flints. This tower, patched unevenly with black ivy, arose like a mutilated finger from among the fists of knuckled masonry and pointed blasphemously at heaven. At night the owls made of it an echoing throat. By day it stood voiceless and cast its long shadow. Very little communication passed between the denizens of these outer quarters and those who lived within the walls, save when, on the first June morning of each year, the entire population of the clay dwellings had sanction to enter the grounds in order to display the wooden carvings on which they had been working during the year. These carvings, blazoned in strange colour, were generally of animals or figures, and were treated in a highly stylized manner peculiar to themselves. The competition among them to display the finest object of the year was bitter and rabid. Their sole passion was directed, once their days of love had guttered, on the production of this wooden sculpture, and among the muddle of huts, at the foot of the outer wall, existed a score of creative craftsmen whose position as leading carvers gave them pride of place among the shadows. At one point within the outer wall, a few feet from the earth, the great stones of which the wall itself was constructed, jutted forward in the form of a massive shelf, stretching from east to west for about 200 to 300 feet. These protruding stones were painted white, and it was upon this shelf that on the first morning of June the carvings were ranged every year for judgment by the Earl of Groan. These works, judged to be the most consummate, and there were never more than 3 chosen, were subsequently relegated to the Hall of the Bright Carvings.